Hello guys and gals, and welcome. So today we're going to be looking at another unique item. This one was not on the list, but I just happened to have both the ethereal and the non-ethereal versions on my online character, no less. And so I wanted to do a video on it, especially since I'm currently using the item. And this is the Windhammer Ogre Maul. So the Windhammer Ogre Maul comes in two forms, obviously, the ethereal and the non-ethereal, and it has some very interesting statistics. Most notably is the chance to proc the level 22 Twister on striking, which is really cool. If you look up the Windhammer Ogre Maul, you will find that there are some effects on this that do vary, so we're going to go over those real quick. So right off the bat, you notice that it has pretty nice damage at 252 to 347 two-handed damage. So really high on the damage. But of course, it is a two-handed weapon, and you would expect a two-handed weapon to do a little bit more than a one-handed weapon. We have a level 68 requirement, which isn't too bad, but the strength requirement of 225 is pretty ridiculous. So that is a little bit of a downside. We also have a 33% chance to cast level 22 Twister on striking, which is a druid skill. And if we go to Twister, we're going to have to look at it on the Amazon Basin, which is one of the websites I use for really high level skills. So level 22 Twister is approximately 78 minimum to 83 maximum physical damage. Now keep in mind that this can be synergized, so if you are willing to build the synergies on a druid, you can actually force that to be a little higher. So for instance, if we look at the Twister skill, you see that it gets 10% per level from Tornado, and it gets 10% per level from Hurricane, for a total of, what is that, 20. So let's work out the math real quick, shall we? So we've got 10 times 40, so we're looking at a total of 400%. So 400% to that damage is what we can reliably look at, which isn't too bad. And so our base damage is 78, so 78 plus 400% is 390 minimum. And then we also have the maximum, which is 83. So 83 plus 400%. So 450. 15. So 390 to 415 damage is what we're looking at per Twister. Keep in mind that Twister does have 3 actual little things that come out. And then on top of that, we also have the fact that it provides a very small stun as well of 0.4 seconds. So we're looking at a nice AoE stun that's going to be coming out of this weapon, and if synergized, would do some pretty significant damage. And with a 33% chance to proc, you're going to see them all the time. And before we go further into the game, let's take a look at what those procs look like. I'm going to go somewhere a little bit easy so I don't have to worry about dying. My character's not quite fully fleshed out yet. He's still a work in progress. He's running negative resistances on pretty much everything, so do keep that in mind as we go forward and I horribly make a fool out of myself. And if we go over and we attack something, you will see that we do some pretty nice little Twisters popping out. Now, you notice I have a lot of Twisters popping out. The reason why I have so many is because I'm not running just one proc for Twisters. I'm running multiple procs for Twisters. I have the 33% chance on the Windhammer Ogre Maul. I also have the 8% chance on the Carrion Wind. And to really double it up, I'm running 2 Carrion Winds. Now, of course, the damage of each one of these is going to be different, because it's going to be 400% plus the level 13 Twister, and then the Rain has the level 15 Twister, so I'm getting 2 procs of level 13 Twisters, I'm getting 1 proc of a level 15 Twister, and I'm getting another proc of the level 22 Twister. And so I have essentially, at this point, if all 4 were to proc at the same time, which they do tend to proc a lot, I would be looking at 4 sets of 3, so 12 total Twisters coming out at any given time. I don't know specifically if multiple Twisters can hit the same target, but I do know that, from the same proc, so like if you have 1 proc of 3 come out, can all 3 hit the same target? But I do know that if you have multiple procs of twisters can still hit the target. So at the very least, we're talking about 4 twisters can probably hit the target at the same time, with a maximum, if they can actually hit at the same time, of 12. And you can see here, it's just a lot of stuns. You see all the little micro stuns going off because of the twisters. Every single time you see a micro stun, that's because the twisters are coming out and interrupting things. This poor guy over here, he couldn't even make it to the fight because he was stuck in an endless sea of twister procs. Now, this particular build is interesting, but it is going to be capped off with a different weapon eventually. I actually plan on using both. So let me correct myself on that. This weapon has the 50% chance of crushing blow on it, and so it is going to be my main weapon for bringing down HP. But I also have another weapon which is also going to be on this character, and this one is the Stormlash Scourge, which I will talk about in detail in another video, not in this one. But this one also has a 20% chance to cast level 18 Tornado, which is also going to work very well with this particular build. So we will play around with that. Now, this weapon is indestructible because I put a Zod rune in it, so don't pay any attention to that as far as the stats are concerned. So now that we've covered the Twister, let's look at the 60% increased attack speed. Now, the 60% increased attack speed is very important. If you didn't have that on this weapon, you wouldn't be able to use this. It would just be too slow for a werewolf druid, and even with the 60% increased attack speed, it is still a little bit too slow. But it's fast enough that it is usable, and the damage on the ethereal version is much higher than the non-ethereal version. I mean, it really hits with a nice thwomp. As you can see here with the ethereal version, we're looking at 361 to 499, and with the non-ethereal, we're looking at 252 to 347. And keep in mind that the non-ethereal version has better ED than the ethereal version. So we also have the ED, of course, which is 228% on the non-F. The maximum that you can possibly get on a Windhammer Ogre Maul is 230%, and it does roll as low as 180%. So a pretty big variance there on the ED, especially considering how much damage this weapon does. We also have a 50% chance of crushing blow, which is an amazingly large amount of crushing blow. Honestly, with 50% chance of crushing blow, you really don't even need any more crushing blow. I know a lot of people like to go to the 100% mark on crushing blow, but with the speed that I'm attacking and the fact that it's a half chance, it procs often enough that I really don't even have to worry about it. Although I will eventually probably tag this up with some Gore Riders. I don't have them on right now. So if you have never heard of Crushing Blow before, I'll explain it really quickly. Crushing Blow is the chance to deal 25% of the monster's HP, current HP, in damage to their hit point pool. If you are fighting a boss, it is 12.5%, and if you are fighting a PvP player, another player, it is only 10%. And not applicable to this situation, but ranged Crushing Blow is cut in half. So for monsters, it is 12.5. For bosses, it is 6.5. And for players, it's 5%. It could be a little off on that boss number. I don't remember exactly. But Crushing Blow is great. It's great to have. So not only do we have a fairly fast weapon here with a stun that is going to proc pretty much all the time while you're wielding it, you can also synergize the stun to deal more damage, which is definitely very nice. And on top of that, we've got the ethereal version, which can be Zodded, and you can get even more damage out of it. So definitely an interesting weapon all around for a druid. Now, you could also theoretically use this on a non-druid. You could use it on maybe a charge paladin or a whirlwind barbarian. Unfortunately, for whirlwind barbarians, they're not going to get the twister procs. I really wish they would change whirlwind to have some procs, or I don't know if they should change it to have procs, but just find some way to make whirlwind not so restrictive on things like this. Maybe make the procs half percentage or something, or maybe change the procs to on struck or something. So like any proc that a whirlwind barbarian has would be on struck instead of on striking. I don't know. Um, yeah. This weapon also has the 50% bonus to Undead, of course, because it is a mace class item. So you do get the extra bonus damage when you're dealing with the Undead monsters. And as you can see, I have 2,296 damage to 3,167 with the F. And with the non-eth, it goes down quite a bit. And the interesting thing that I noted about this when I was looking at it and deciding whether I wanted to put a Zod in there or not was the damage on the non-eth. And I was like, look at the top end damage, the 2229, right? So that is the top end of the non-eth Ogre Maul. Look at the bottom end of the eth version. The bottom end of the eth version is higher than the top end of the non-eth version. And that was what had convinced me to just go ahead and do it, because I thought it would be pretty fun. I feel like it is going to be pretty fun. Bink. Up until then, I was using a Biriza do Canyon, which is actually really good for druids too. Now, this particular weapon does have some downsides to it. It's not as customizable. You obviously, if you put a Zod in the ethereal version, you won't get to socket it with something that you would like. If you use the non-ethereal version, you could put a Shale Rune in it, which is actually kind of nice. And you know, maybe you're not going to build the twisters, but the twisters will still provide you with the stun, no matter what, because the stun doesn't go up. So the only reason to synergize the twisters is to increase the damage of the twisters, not necessarily to increase the stun length duration, because that does not change. So even at the unsynergized form, you're still going to get the stun length duration, which is kind of a nice bonus. And of course, you could always get this same sort of thing just by using a Carrion Wind, but do keep in mind that the Carrion Wind is only 8% chance, and the Windhammer Ogre Maul is 33% chance. So, you know, if we were to add up my chances here, I've got a 33% chance for level 22 twisters. I've got a 5% chance for level 15 twisters. I've got two 8% chances for level 13 twisters. So I've got 4 different procs going on as far as twisters are concerned, and I'm having a lot of fun with that. It really is just so much fun to go out there and just start wailing on something, and then watching all these little twisters pop out and stun the ever-loving crap out of everything nearby. And it makes it very difficult for them to do anything, to fight back, because they're just constantly in this stun-locked state. And as long as I'm attacking, as long as I'm actually attacking, I'm usually doing pretty well. But see, the issue is that I've noticed is that as soon as I stop attacking, I'm horribly terribly dead. This particular build is interesting, though. One of the most fun things I've noticed about this build is just relying on the Cyclone armor. So the level 15 Cyclone armor that's on the Rain actually procs a lot, and it absorbs a rather large amount of damage. It's not fully synergized yet, but when it is finished, when I have finished the synergies on it, it will be absorbing somewhere in the excess of probably like 1,500 or more elemental damage. If we take a look at the Cyclone armor and you look at actually how much it does, you would then have to add the synergies. So each synergy, Twister, Tornado, and Hurricane, will give it 7%. So you go to the level 15 Cyclone armor, and then you add 7% times 20 times 3. And then you add that to the total amount, and you'll add up with a pretty large amount of elemental resistance. And I've already covered this particular armor in a different series, a RuneWord series. So if you want to take a look at that, it is there. Rain is actually one of the really good Druid armors, and I feel like it's a little underappreciated. Anyway, as always, I do appreciate you guys watching these videos. And if you're looking to find the Windhammer Ogre Maul, I do have a Magic Find video up if you want to look at that. Instead of going over each individual item on where to find them, because honestly, the method to find these is the same for every single one. You just need to know the method. Take a look at my Magic Find video, and it will get you what you need. And as always, thanks for watching, and keep watching.